to those doing the impossible in Ukraine. Modern-day heroes of the world protecting a nation from this malevolent sound heard almost daily in Ukraine. The sirens in Ukraine. Let me be fundamentally clear once again. There is only one godless, ruthless dictator in this war that has launched such horrors upon a society, traumatizing citizens from the youngest to the oldest. That dictator is Vladimir Putin. But it's also evident that what Ukraine is experiencing today is a sign of Putin's intent to continue his expansionist march past Ukraine and onto other countries. Ukraine's strength and resilience have been challenged. They have been proven, and they are known throughout the world. Their sacrifice in Ukraine is not in vain, and reminds me of a quote from a famous statesman. If we stand up to him, all of Europe may be free, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age made more sinister. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duties, and so bear ourselves that men will say, this was their finest hour. Many of you may recognize that preceding quote was delivered by Winston Churchill during the height of World War II. And it is as relevant today against him, the Kremlin dictator Putin, as much it was towards Hitler in his day.
You got a good flag, put it on your shoulders.
And now is the finest hour for USA, arm Ukraine, USA, arm Ukraine, USA, arm Ukraine, USA, arm Ukraine,
USA, arm Ukraine, USA, arm Ukraine, USA, arm Ukraine.
Ladies and gentlemen, funding for Ukraine is not charity, but a strategic investment in the security and economic stability of the United States. Of the nearly $170 billion in assistance given to Ukraine since the initial Russian invasion in 2014, nearly 75% remains in the United States for replenishing weapon stocks with new, more modern, and technologically advanced weaponry, which further deters our enemies. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact. Do not succumb to bias and rhetoric from public officials, nor let others deceive the truthful narrative. The truth lies in a recent Ronald Reagan Institute poll, which captured the essence of American foreign policy prerogatives and the need for enhanced deterrence. 80% of those polled in the United States indicated that, quote, Russia is an existential threat to the United States.
Yep.
For the past 3 years, the notion of peace through strength has been embodied in Ukraine, which has been fighting for its liberty and all the while defending the United States from Russian aggression and from other malign actors. We are immeasurably grateful to the heroic defenders of Ukraine, as well we express our gratitude to every single American and world citizen, to all of our friends, for your empathy and outpouring of support to be with the Ukrainian nation. And we call upon our elected officials, Republicans and Democrats alike, to be brave like Ukraine. Be brave like Ukraine. Be brave like Ukraine.
Be brave like Ukraine. Be brave like Ukraine. Get some balls, guys.
Be brave like Ukraine and speak out for the principles of democracy. And use all means of communication to advance truth to power about Ukraine in its existential fight and the crucial partnership between Ukraine and the United States. As those fighting for freedom in Ukraine are not fatigued, we should not be deterred either. Thus, let us lend our voice to overcome travesty and seek justice today in recognizing Russia as a state sponsor of terror.
The butchers.
Prosecuting Russian war crimes for the untold horrors afflicted upon the Ukrainian people.
Yes.
Returning the thousands of trafficked and kidnapped Ukrainian children.
Yes. Bring them home.
Enacting greater sanctions against Russia and thus nullifying the Russian war machine.
Yes.
My dear friends, Reverend clergy, esteemed ambassadors, дорогі українці, I have no doubt, and you have no doubt, that Ukraine will be victorious. But only together and by carrying the torch of truth will victory be achieved in Ukraine. God bless America і слава Україні!
Героям слава!
It now gives me great pleasure to introduce Ruslana Bilokonь from Philadelphia, who will begin our program with the singing of the U.S. and Ukrainian national anthems. Ruslana, please. Thank you.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Thank you, Ruslana. Thank you for those beautiful renditions of the American and the Ukrainian national anthems. I would now like to request that His Excellency Daniel, Archbishop of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church in the USA, and Very Reverend Robert Hitchens, pastor of the Ukrainian Catholic National Shrine of the Holy Family, to deliver the invocation in Ukrainian and English respectively, followed by a moment of silence.
Слава Ісусу Христу! Але вас не чути. Слава Ісусу Христу! Слава Україні!
Слава!
Сідайте трошки. Ви знаєте, я розпочну на українській мові. Я приїхав в Америку в 95-му році як студент католицького університету. Я прийшов вперше до цього пам'ятника чи меморіалу Лінкольна разом з нашими друзями, студентами. І ми з України стояли на сходах, дивились на той пам'ятник і подивляли пам'ятник лідеру Сполучених Штатів Америки, котрий відстоює свободу слова, право на життя, свободу совісті. And now let me switch to English. We are gathered here today on these solemn steps before the profound monument of President Lincoln, a man who stood for liberty, justice, and indivisible right of every human being to live in freedom. His vision for a nation united under the banner of justice and equality echoes in our hearts today as we confront the tragic reality that freedom and peace are denied now to the millions of Ukrainians. You and we are here to mark the third anniversary, and I will call it genocidal, full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russian Federation. 3 years of pain, 3 years of destruction, 3 years of lives lost, families shattered, and a sovereign nation brutalized simply for choosing free life. As people of God, today, here, in a nation's capital, we stand in prayer. We are going to bow our heads, seeking the protection of the Almighty for the people of God. We lift today our hearts, praying for peace, but not just for any kind of peace, a just peace. We know that prayer is not enough alone. No. For God calls us not only to pray, but to also act in His name. Ukraine can no longer suffer. We cannot make any deals with evil. We must not compromise in the 21st century with aggression. We must stand up as people of God, stand up against evil, stand for justice, and stand for peace. A peace, according to Lincoln, based on equality and ability to live life without the constant fear of war and the loss of life. And so today, I speak clearly to all of you as a religious leader, speak in front of the ambassador of Ukraine and the rest of you Ukrainian Americans and friends of Ukrainian American community. The true dictator of this ongoing war, genocidal war, lives in Moscow. Let there be no confusion once and for all. If someone dares to label the people of Ukraine or their political leaders as dictators, perhaps they need to open the pages of history. Some of these individuals must learn what dictatorship is all about. It is about the suppression of voices, the denial of basic freedoms, the cold machinery of oppression that crushes innocent people. You and I, we know this. Ukraine did not choose this war. Ukraine was attacked. Ukraine did not violate any borders. Ukraine defended its own borders. Ukraine did not destroy lives. Ukraine defends the right to live freely. Remember, democracy is not only a political system. Democracy, true democracy, is a moral commitment to stand against tyranny. It's a divine gift, God-given gift to uphold peace, justice, equality, love, and compassion for the world in which we live. And so today, in this new political reality in the United States of America, we call upon the leaders of the free world, but especially here in the United States of America, stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine.
Stand with Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine.
Do not, America, do not make concessions to evil. Do not give ground to those who grab land, destroy lives, and demand even more. Help Ukraine to protect itself, not to fight, but to defend its people, its freedom, and its future. So now we're standing together as Ukrainians and Americans, Belarusians, Kazakhs, Georgians, with our other Bulgarians and other nations that are standing with us this day. If we allow aggression to win in Ukraine, it will spread. Justice demands actions. We believe in peace, but peace with justice. We believe in love, but a love that does not compromise with evil. We believe in freedom, but a freedom protected by truth and courage. And so now, I will ask you to stand. I'll ask you to remove your hats if you have a hat. And trust me, you're not gonna get sick. The guys on the front lines in Ukraine are dealing with much different conditions than what we have here in the nation's capital. And let's say a prayer.